Yay!
Alright, here's the first scramble. For Skewb, I still use the half and half method, which I don't think anyone else uses, but I haven't really practiced for 5 years, so I still average high fives. Anyway, the scramble's not that great. I don't see many blocks, but I do see this red center attached to the red, green, yellow corner. Now the green center is right here, and the other red, green corner is right here. So that if I hold it like this, that's only 3 moves. 1, 2, 3. To create this cluster of 4 pieces, that is 2 centers and the corners in between them. Next, I see that the yellow center is attached to the opposite corner like this, which is pretty good usually because it takes about 3 moves to move it to where it needs to go over here. And I see that the 2 yellow corners I care about, this one and this one, I can sort of scoop up along the way. Like 1, 2, 3 to create this sort of peanut shape. And then I just do 1 more move to bring it back in. So that's 7 moves to create our first half of the Skewb. Yeah, anyway. So I flip it over to the other side. I do a sort of AUF. And then I notice I have a 3-corner twist. It's sort of like a pure soon in a way. And I actually forgot the algorithm to this, which is why I paused in the solve for about a second. But the algorithm is actually all clockwise moves, which is really interesting. Like that. And that finishes the solve. It was a 7.13, I think, which is pretty bad. Yes. Now here's the second scramble. Right off the bat, there's a lot more blocks to play around with, so I went with a yellow-orange cluster. So here's the yellow center and a corner, and here's the orange center and a corner. And this is a weird solution where you have to turn 2 faces that aren't next to each other. So I bring it down here, and then this corner pairs up like that, and then I bring it all together to create the yellow and orange cluster. And then just by chance, 2 blue corners also get solved at the same time. So now here's the blue center, and for the half and half method that I use, I can solve all of a half minus 1 corner. I don't need to worry about all corners. I can like skip one of them. So actually the fastest solution is just a 3-move insert of like solving these 2 and ignoring that one, which is 1, 2, 3. And it's probably what I should have done, but it's not what I actually did. Instead, I guess I saw the center was here. I brought it toward myself so it was easier to see. And I essentially did the same solution, but like flipped. So now I'm solving this center and this corner and ignoring this guy. So I put those in like that, 1, 2, 3. And then when you have a half minus a corner, the corner will always be solved, but twisted. So it's like, it's always gonna be the right spot, but it could be twisted wrong. So anyway, I move over here. I see I have, on the second half, like here, I see I have 1 solved corner with 2 centers here. And when there's this, that means we have a really good case because if I solve it, then we end up with a double sledge. So everything is permuted and we just need to twist these. And that's just, 2 sledges. It's like the Pi Bruno case. And then it is solved. And by the way, the double sledge shows up 12 out of 81 times for this half and half method, which is better than 1 in 7. So like, if you like that algorithm, switch to half and half.
Ready.
8 seconds.
Is that a world record?
Case?
0.8.
So that was the third solve. If we look at the scramble, there aren't many blocks except for this one in green. So I decided to solve the green and yellow cluster. We have these 2 pieces, this second green and yellow corner, and this yellow center. So I'm going to use the first move to pair up the yellow center to the other corner to create 2 yellow and green pairs. Now I want to twist this pair, so I'm going to bring it out of the way, twist it, and then bring it right back. And that's 4 moves to solve the green and yellow cluster. Next, I either want to solve 2 orange pieces on the left or 2 red pieces on the right. But I suddenly see this orange center and corner sort of pointing out diagonally from this opposite corner here, these opposite colors. And whenever I see that, I'm really happy because that's just 2 moves, 1, 2, to bring it alongside the pre-existing cluster and finish off our half a Skewb minus a corner. And then the last corner will be twisted, but that's fine. So then I turn it over to the other half, and by sheer luck, almost all of it is solved. So I'm going to do an AUF now, like this, to see that I have a pure 2-corner twist. Now, even though this is one of the cases that is mathematically closest to being solved, the algorithm for it is pretty bad. The one I use is like this, and it's 10 moves. And I don't know what pro skewbers out there use, but I know you can do 4 sledgehammers with some rotations in the middle, but that's 16 moves. So that finished off the solve. It was 5.53 seconds, which is okay. But anyway, let me do the scramble again, because I noticed that there was actually a better solution I could have done. So we have the green block again, but what if instead of green-yellow, we start by solving the green-orange cluster? Then we have these two pieces, this corner, and this orange center, which can be solved in 3 moves. 1, 2, 3. Now I just need to solve, some yellow pieces here or some white pieces here. But if I turn the Skewb over this way, look at that. There's this ready-made white peanut that can be inserted in 1 move. So that's 4 moves to solve half a Skewb, which is really good. And then when I turn over to the other side, we just have a last half algorithm. There's like 9 possible cases for this. And when I see that there's this yellow arrow pointing this way and 2 yellow stickers pointing at me this way, I do this algorithm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then an AUF. So what is that? 4 moves for the first half and like 9 for the second half, and then some AUFs. It's like 14 moves for a whole Skewb solve.
I was finding my signature, and then at the exact instant I couldn't do it down.
Now we're on to the 4th scramble, and this one had a pretty ugly finish. But anyway, as we look around the cube, we notice there's like this thing here. But I decided to go with solving the red-blue cluster because this corner can be solved in 1 move, and then this center can be attached to it in a 2nd move. So it's just 2 moves to solve the red-blue cluster. Next, I need to solve either the 3 whites here or the 3 yellows here. I saw this, so I'm going to go with the yellow. Actually, I only need to do 2 because it's -1 corner. But anyway, to connect these 2, I'm going to bring white to the back / bottom or whatever, and then move the corner back with it, which creates this sort of like diagonal opposite thing that I was talking about earlier. And I can, bring it up, sort of connect it twisted with the 3rd corner. And then when I bring that in, I get half minus a twisted corner, or with a twisted corner. So that could be really good because we could get a double sledge again. But when I flip it over to this side, I see that that's not what we have. We have a whole bunch of jumbled nothingness. So in this case, I'll just try to set centers opposite. So there's yellow down here. So white should go up here to be opposite that. And then orange is opposite red. Green is opposite blue. Duh. And I see I'm left with a 5 corner twist. So everything's permuted. They're just twisted. And I know an algorithm for this. It's like sledge and then 1 turn, sledge, another turn. But I don't know how to finger trick it very well. So like I did it like this. That's like the first sledge. And then like this corner will twist up, and then I'll do the same thing on the left side. And then that corner will twist back, and then that will solve the 5 corner twist. There must be a more finger tricky way to do it, but I don't know it. So like it took me like 3+ seconds to just do those 10 moves. And that's why this solve was a 7.3 and the worst of the average. But I also think it's like funny that I know these 5 corner twist algs, because I doubt there's like very many other skewbers out there who like bother to learn that, because like, if you use Sarah's Advanced, when are you ever going to need to know a 5 corner twist? But there it is. Yes. Here's the 5th and last scramble. So for this one, I went with the orange and blue cluster. So here's these 2 pieces, and then the 2nd corner is here, and then the blue center is down here. So I'm going to pair it up with this turn. So we have, this pair, and then we still have the original pair. And then I know in a Skewb, you should never have to do double turns, but I did this sort of double turn up here, even though like you could just do kind of 1 turn in the other direction, so that the orange and blue pairs are 1 move away from connecting, and now you have your orange and blue cluster. Now you need to either solve 3 here or 3 here. I looked around and I see that the white pieces already make a triplet minus this twisted corner. So if I bring it in, I have half of the Skewb minus the twisted corner in like 5 moves, I think. But anyway, so I turn it over to the other side. I see this solved corner, which is really good. That means that these 3 are all permuted correctly, but just twisted, which means that this one is the last twisted one. So we have double sledge again. And this is a different color scheme because it's on a different half. You know, there's like an AOF in between there. But if we just look at these two pieces, or even that one, doesn't really matter. Just imagine solving this sledge. You would do it from this angle, right? You would do this. And that will solve both halves. You know, it twists that corner because it's part of the double sledge, but also fixes these three corners. And then you just AOF at the end. And then you're done. And what's really cool is that because double sledge is like pretty easy to predict, as you're doing the double sledge, you can start thinking about what the AOF is before you get to it and just finish it in one fell swoop. So that was a 4.3, which was the fastest solve of the average, and I'm really happy with that. Anyway, thank you for watching my walkthrough videos for my 5.7 average for Skewb. Hooray! Bye!